those numbers.
A week longer than I was.
Okay. I don't know why I noticed it tonight, but
They came with.
fluorescent dice, excellent.
Yes, I have the Illuminati set with.
I had never played the Illuminati. I believe I played Awful Green things, and I think this was sort of the precursor to Fantasy Trip, wasn't it?
No, that would have been, I think, after Fantasy Trip.
Oh, okay.
Fantasy Trip was the precursor to GURPS in many ways.
Yes. Well, absolutely.
Yes. And you made this. You made this statement at other gaming the other day. That the special character always ended up being the high number, and I'm used to them being the one on D6s.
Because of Con of the North?
Yeah, when you were talking about Con of the North.
Yes.
With whoever.
They frequently are the 6.
Okay. I have personally never seen a die where they were the 6.
Okay. It may be partially where I'm getting a lot of them.
Could be.
All of the regional dice that the various regions for Pathfinder Organized Play have, they try and get different colors and stuff, and they have the glyph of the open road as the 6.
Okay.
Jim Con had it as the 6. What is another one that does it? Trying to remember. I've got a few different ones that do that as the 6, and Con of the North and Free RPG Day, I think, are the only ones I've got where it's the 1.
Okay.
But it could be affected quite a bit by where I'm getting my die 6.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a Paizo thing that they come out as the 6.
Well, Jim Con wasn't connected.
True.
I would have to look at a large portion of mine have the open glyph, and those are always the 6. Some people make a point of collecting other regions die 6, so I have a large collection as people will give them out from their own region.
Right.
Do you have one of our die? No. Here, have one. Okay, thank you. Oh, where'd you get that die? I have no clue. Oh, can I trade you for this die? Yes. Sometimes it's very interesting to be the person that just doesn't care. Ask me when I'm at Gamers. I'll look and see what other ones I have. I know I have at least a couple, and I know that Free RPG Day at least once made it to 1 instead of the 6, so I am suspicious of that one. But Con of the North is the one I go to frequently that does it as the 1. However, this year they did it as a 20. Well, I barely made it in time.
Or maybe caucusing.
Martin is caucusing.
That can take time, yes.
Yeah. Unless everybody agrees right up front on who they want.
I have
There's
not
no shifting
connected
around.
that today was caucusing, so. They were very disappointed in me because I said I would make my decision just before voting. And they contacted me with 4 different times.
I got into a rather extended conversation with a young lady who was texting me from Elizabeth Warren's campaign.
I got several texts from Elizabeth Warren, yes.
I explained to the young lady that any political party that texts me is going, if more than once, is going to have about as much chance as a snowflake in hell of getting my support, much less my vote. She was polite about it, so we exchanged a few more texts, and then she offered to remove me from the lists. Okay.
I have yet to receive a political campaign text.
Let's see.
Don't
Neither have I.
don't worry.
And when I do,
You get emails.
Yeah, I
You
get plenty of
can
emails.
most definitely tell them stop.
I will tell them.
Bernie 2020, Elizabeth Warren from Anna,
I will stretch the truth a bit and tell them I'm paying on a I'm on this phone plan. I'm paying on a per text basis. Is your campaign going to reimburse me for all of these texts you're sending me?
Danny from Bernie 2020, Colleen, move on.
You know, I know I had a more recent list of when people were not going to be here, and I can't find it.
Okay. I can.
But I will believe Scott when he says that I wrote it down that Martin was not going to be here today.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Well, that's a problem. A fight.
Hmm?
We're gonna start a fight.
Yep.
You don't know that.
I sure hope
He
so.
pretty much. he aiming for one. So you want days we won't make it?
In general, I like to know when people are not going to be here. Yes.
Next one for me is May.
There's a distinct possibility that I will not be here on March 24th. It is not decided yet, but there is a distinct possibility.
Okay.
Well, it is, after all, my 65th birthday.
Right.
Yes. Well, you can decide then if you're going to be here or not.
Well,
That's
he
your
might
decision.
not. He might have a significant other that decides.
For kids.
Yeah,
kids.
I would say more likely his other family. But
I will let you know well in advance.
okay, good.
As I said, my next time that I know of is May.
I may also be off contracting yellow fever or dengue or
Well, don't do that.
leishmaniasis or trypanosomiasis.
Don't do any of those things.
I'll
Those
try to
don't
avoid
sound
it.
like good ideas.
No, but a friend has invited me to stay at his place in Kenya.
It would be an experience. Hopefully a good one. But
Hopefully. Come stay at my house. You can drink at my bar. You won't need anything but the airfare. Boy, it's hard
Wow.
to turn it down.
Except airfare to Kenya is very expensive.
That's about 1,000.
Yeah.
For the round trip?
Which yes, round trip.
that isn't
Which I
that
agree
bad.
is
It's not.
expensive.
I mean,
It's expensive, but
Yeah.
it really isn't that bad.
True.
considering where you're going. It's
Yeah.
Not that bad, yes. Just looking at my schedule to see
Then
if
there's
there's
the
any
ancillary costs. 'Cause
Tuesdays in the next couple of months that I'm not seeing anything. I am not running Minicon this year, so the Tuesday before Easter, I will not be extremely busy. How about you, Scott? Will you
I'm
be?
available that Tuesday.
Okay.
May 26th.
May 26th.
I'm probably also
June
okay for the
16th.
Tuesday after.
Okay. I usually like to take the Tuesday after as a recovery day.
What better way to recover?
I'm on vacation Wednesday through Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm hosting the party Monday night. People may have to help me rearrange furniture when they show up on Tuesday.
Yeah. I'll just
If you want
sleep
me to
really
show
late
up
on the
early,
Tuesday
I
after.
can. It's not like I have work to get to.
Well,
Why is
there
this
is a
not
day in April where I'm going to be late.
Like
Like 8
hour
o'clock
late
late,
or-
Well, it's like 6 o'clock to like 7:30. Or
the thing that you're
6
going to be at is?
Yeah, 6 o'clock to 8. Obviously, the email came out further back than this thing goes, so.
Heaven forbid it should be right where you can find it easily.
Yeah, that's sometimes just change this thing
Going.
better, but.
Wish it would not wiggle like this. Ah. All right, that's it. Still wiggling though. Stop wiggling, you stupid camera.
because they always listen.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually Alexa.
Alexa
Siri
training
and
us
things,
to
yes.
expect
Oh,
that
I see.
technology will respond.
Sorry about this, everyone watching, but yes, there, that's better. It's not screwed in properly. Somehow it got itself screwed. There, better. All right, so let's start this again. Brett not available May 26th. Steve will be late. What was the date?
I'm trying to figure it out.
Okay.
Can you? There's April. Or do you need to see it on your own calendar? Which week? Nope. Okay.
No, I don't know.
And Brett also for June 16th.
Tuesday, April 7th.
Where are you going to be coming from?
University of Minnesota.
Okay.
And we don't know yet what you're doing on March 25th, 24th, sorry. You're available both Tuesdays around anytime. I'm available both Tuesdays around anytime.
When's minicon?
10th, 11th, and 12th.
Yes.
That weekend.
Friday through Easter.
Yeah, Friday through Easter.
Yes, Good Friday through Easter. And then there's a party here that Monday as well.
Dead dog party.
Yeah. The camera is still sort of soft focus. Okay, so we were, if I remember correctly, we had been outside of the Catholic Church, not quite big enough to be a cathedral and not styled like a cathedral, but it's a very large Catholic church
With
with four spires, which oddly seem, just appropriate height to have radio antennas installed in them. But we have not yet determined for certain that there are radio antennas installed in them.
Well, we have determined that there are no other obvious locations to hide said
Yeah,
antennas.
there's nothing nearly tall enough to be a radio antenna in this town, other than those 4 spires.
Which is why I said, let's just go to the church.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
we're
it's,
actually in the church.
if you know
We
that,
are actually in, yes. We
Mhm.
just teleported in.
okay, so
And I think the
Steve
teleportation
said
was
he
when it
teleported
stopped.
in. He did not say, I climbed back down, we joined hands.
Oh,
None of that went
okay.
none of that happened.
So Jack disappeared again.
I don't know. Do you want to say that?
Yes.
So when you climbed up to look in the window,
Mm-hmm.
everybody had to like huddle right underneath you.
Pretty much.
Otherwise, they would have been out of. I mean, if they were 5 feet away from the church, they would be out of hush. They have to all press themselves up against the wall, basically, right underneath you.
I'm in a pyramid, so I can stand up.
Well, I mean, you could be standing on one of their shoulders. That's true. All right, and we'll say that since you've seen it, when you look through the window, you can get back down, you link hands, and then you all teleport again. Now, I need to know all the details of your teleport device. I need to know both within game mechanics and within story, your teleportation device. If you don't want to tell me, then I'm going to decide on my own.
Okay.
So start with the game mechanics. Is it mysteries or science-based?
This one's science-based.
All right, it's science-based, so it has to be mad science because there's no way that standard engineering could do this.
Well, it's a universal gadget, so I don't
All right,
think
it's a universal gadget, and yes, all right. So the improvements are
unbelievable.
unbelievable. Well, that's a good one.
Presumably unbelievable and mad science are two of them.
I don't think we need to use two. You just use one or the other.
Okay.
That determines who could have made
There it
it.
is. Right.
Well,
Futurization, but this allows for scientific advances which are considered science fiction today. So it's not using mysteries at all. It's using engineering or science, but far future engineering or science.
yes.
And it's a universal gadget. So within story, it's just this you've kind of frozen it basically. It's the same one every time. But you pull it out of your pocket each time, and it's a teleportation device.
Mm-hmm.
Only allowed 2 improvements, not 3. Fine, the gadget is locked in for the remainder of the session. Get off, is it? Gadget on the fly. Right. All right.
Why is the universal as opposed to personal?
Because he hasn't made it personal.
He wants to be able to have it be something else.
Apparently.
In different stories and in different adventures, he could redefine it as not a teleportation device, which would use up the universal gadget, but
Right.
maybe he needs it for that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I'm hoping we don't need an explosive suppressor.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now what I've got is a thunderstorm generator.
Uh-huh.
I
And
thought you had the thunderstorm maximizer.
we have
One of us have.
we have 2 artifacts that are in use right now, is that correct?
We have
Yes.
multiple. We have his universal gadget, my my universal gadget is artifact from you, was it? To get past the barrier.
And
Artifact from you.
Oh, and an artifact from you.
Right, so we've got, all right, the two artifacts, what are they defined as? One of them is versus the detection field, right?
Mhm.
What's the other one?
Defeat the magical suppression.
Ah, that's it. Okay.
And then the universal gadget based on science and engineering was to defeat
The laser grid, or actually, it's not laser; it's
the light.
light grid.
Yeah, the light curtain, basically.
The science-based alarm system was defeated by the gadget,
Mhm.
and the suppression and detection were both
By the
defeated by artifacts,
Mm-hmm.
which leaves one thing that you're not defending against.
Yeah, the defense thing
Right.
that tossed that we presume is what tossed
Right.
Edgy's companion into
So you're in the church.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's sort of wavy or misty. It's difficult to see. It's a little different looking than when you look through the window. For instance, there's a guy who's sitting up on the altar. he's a Australian Aboriginal man, and he looks very old.
I have to define one more thing in my universal gadget, don't I?
You can, yes.
You want me to do it now or want me to wait?
You define it at your will.
Yeah, I'll just wait a little bit.
What?
I guess I can wait a little bit because I know what I'm going to do.
All
I think I know what I'm going to do.
right. It is daylight now. It wasn't when you were outside of the church, but it is now because there's light streaming in through the window.
What happened? Did we just
Academics roll.
Sure.
Well,
Anybody who's Australian or has walked the walk or has been in the dreamtime before, it's a fairly low roll.
Great.
Yeah, that's more than you need. You're in the dreamtime.
and
You're in the dreamtime.
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I got great.
It's academics?
Yeah, to
Fair. and
figure out
talk
where
the
you
walk.
are. You could also use mysteries as a knowledge-based skill, but it really doesn't matter. Everybody's going to get it.
Fair.
That's good enough.
Okay. I didn't.
You
this was real.
recognize this as a mental state that some people describe as the dream time. Now, people can go into all sorts of different altered mental states. You just happen to be in one that has a specific name. Dream time.
Uh-huh. I wonder what's happening to my body.
You appear to have a body. I mean,
Yes.
you can touch yourself.
Yes. If it's an altered mental state.
From your character's point of view, that's all it is.
Okay.
You're right there.
Okay. I was thinking like altered states, the movie.
Oh, you're not in some pod somewhere. You're right here.
Okay.
It's just that your mental state is altered so that your vision is being impaired. You're seeing
Hallucinations.
Light,
seeing hallucinations like the fact that it's
daylight.
daylight outside.
Mhm.
Okay.
So, what happens when I try to teleport back out? Where I came from?
Are you saying let's link hands again? I want to teleport out of here.
Yep, just the test.
Okay.
Okay.
You don't understand why that would be necessary. I mean, it's not like your mental state is going to get unaltered. Whatever it is that altered it is probably not going to.
Just.
And yes, you teleport out, and there you are in the dream time still.
I'm gonna teleport
Outside
back
the
in.
cathedral, in the green time, in the green time.
Then I'm teleporting back in. Then I'm closer to what my goal is. Then.
Yeah, the guy on the guy on the altar did not do anything that acknowledged you. His eyes were closed. He was sitting sort of in a, what is it?
Lotus?
Like a lotus position. He wasn't snoring or anything, but he didn't seem to react to you.
Should we talk to the baker and find out what's happening?
Sure.
Sure.
And she pronounces it like the Indians do. I can't.
Fakir.
Fakir. I can never remember what.
Here? Not that hard. I'm the guy who has a PhD in mispronunciation, so.
All right. So, yeah, you guys and him are the only people in here right now.
I do look to Jack and ask, so why did you put us in an altered state?
I didn't. I suspect that jackass did.
Well, one should not insult someone before you even introduced yourself.
Did I ask to be put into this altered state?
I seldom am sure.
The answer to that question is no.
Okay.
So therefore, I don't appreciate it.
Well, I suppose we should talk to the gentleman. We
Hello.
can get, huh?
Hold on.
Oh,
I have no food. None whatsoever. Yep, nothing.
well. You want
I
to lead
walk
the way?
toward the altar and say, "Hello, grandfather."
Make a mystery roll. This is actually lower than most mysteries roll.
Well, that's
You're
good
not going to
because
make it there.
Yeah. I'm only average there.
So, yeah, you know.
He doesn't even.
How far away do you move towards him? Are you like,
Are
when
you
you started
standing
out, you're
within
about
hush?
30 feet away from him. So you could just move 10 feet or 20 feet. If you want
I
to,
just
if you
walk
want to, you'd have to walk up some steps to get to the upper part.
Yeah.
And he's sitting on the, whatever that is called, the sort of like table part.
Dais.
The altar.
The altar, yes.
The altar.
He's sitting on the altar itself.
Okay.
I just walk up to the bottom of the stairs
Okay.
before I greet him.
I'll follow you.
All right. If you're following him, then you also can make a mysteries roll. If you roll average, I'm going to tell you you don't sense anything. Okay, that is actually good enough in this particular situation. You feel power emanating from this guy.
Okay, this guy's got, he's a mystery guy. He's emanating some real power. I can feel it. I don't know about you.
They often do.
I guess I'll follow up and
Mm-hmm.
not sense anything like that.
You could roll a +4.
Yes, if you roll a +4, you will sense something.
Mediocre.
Yeah, no, they're just, I mean, he
I don't
seems
get it.
he seems like,
He looks
he's
like
he's
somebody.
probably about 5'6". He's all wrinkly, so you can tell he's pretty old.
I mean, as an elder, there's a certain amount of respect one should give him.
Yeah, I mean that's obviously true. You know, you don't go poke him in the eye or something. His
Not
eyes are
unless you're a
closed,
mango tree.
So,
There's a poke your eye out. mango
why
tree.
don't you make a mysteries roll as
Yes,
well?
I walk up to.
Well, even before you walk up.
Okay. That will be legendary.
Yeah. When you first got into the church, you felt his power emanating from him.
Right.
Like, wow, this guy is very powerful.
Mhm.
Like, so when you were in China studying, there were probably people who you could just feel their mysteries-based power emanating from them.
Right.
This is like that, you know. Yeah, he's obviously not a wimp. And he's not, I mean, sometimes people like that will disguise it. They'll suppress that sort of thing. This guy doesn't seem to feel the need. All right, so you're all up there sort of at the bottom of the steps. And you've spoken.
Mm-hmm.
You've talked to the rest of the group.
I'm looking around. Do we have a mixture of the Aborigine and the Catholic decor
In this
here, or
room,
is it
it's
just-
all Catholic Church except for the guy. The guy has sort of, I mean, you didn't notice it at first, but he's got some scarring,
Mhm.
both on his face and on his chest, and also some stuff. It's sort of, it's a lot more subtle than you might think. It things painted on his face and chest as well.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes you'll see pictures of people like this, and they'll have like bright white,
Yep.
painted. No, that's not here. It's more.
He's being more subtle.
It's more grays and like line art black.
Well, I would suggest the mystery people talk to this guy first,
Yes,
which is Simon and Eddie.
I will say hello.
Edgy defers to you, obviously.
Yeah. I will say hello.
So he opens his eyes now, and his eyes are very weird. They're all white, and like there's light literally emanating from his eyes. And he looks at you.
I assume that the entrance into Dreamtime is courtesy of you and a certain spirit. Well,
Yes. You do not belong here. Would you like me to send you to where you belong?
where do you believe I belong?
Your home.
You really want to go back to New York, Simon?
I'm not.
Yeah, he's not certain. I can tell you, he's not certain that New York is where he would go.
Yeah, I'm not certain that. Well, I'm not certain that I would find out where the monastery went. I'm not certain I want to know where the monastery went at this exact moment.
Solve a mystery.
It would.
Unfortunately, it has that property of also opening up several others. That
Like, can I get home from there? Well, like, can I get back to New York from there?
can I get back to my own plane?
Possibly. As much as I would like to, I am currently bound by
This is not for you. All right, you're saying?
by friendship and personal oaths to be in this place at this time. Well, approximately this place. Wasn't planning on the Dreamtime.
Well, he's just sort of looking at you now. Like,
Am I correct in assuming you know it's Fat Sal, right? Why am I having such a hard time keeping this straight?
I don't know. I've gotten it wrong a couple of times too. Yes, it is Fat Sal.
Do you know a gentleman who goes by the name in the mundane world of Fat Sal?
I know is Salvatore. I have known him a long time.
What do you know about Salvatore as Jack starts walking up?
So he doesn't acknowledge your question at all.
Doesn't actually surprise me. You know him. Do you consider him a friend or a colleague or a business
So
acquaintance?
how close are you getting to him?
In about 5 feet.
Uh-huh. Okay. What is your intention right now?
Ask questions.
All right. He's a colleague.
We're here because he invited us. True, from a certain point of view. Just remember Obi-Wan in the first Star Wars movie.
So he's continuing to ignore you. Even though you're closer than he is. And,
I can re-roll my history. That might get better. I might even use the fate point then.
So, are you causing the entry into the dreamtime because of an arrangement with Salvatore? Or is Salvatore taking advantage of something that you were already doing?
he suggested.
And he is still talking like a tourist.
So something in here is causing an altered state of consciousness, and once it altered, it didn't unalter once you went out of the church.
Right.
And you've come
Right.
back, and now it's like
And we have this fellow claiming to be
the person who's responsible for it, yes.
May I ask what the terms are of the what he did he put it when he suggested it? Did he make any suggestions of any kind of limits or appropriate? Appropriate locations, effects, whatever.
So he's actually pausing every time you ask one of these questions. He's not. He's taking his time to answer, but at least he's paying attention to you, as opposed to Jack, who he's pretty much completely ignoring.
I mean, you might want to tell him he might want to start paying attention to me, otherwise I'm going to be forced to do something that no one will like.
Well,
I'm not certain you can do something to him that he's not going to like.
Do you really want to find out?
I don't. But I also know not to force attention on something.
He made a suggestion. All of the decisions after that were mine.
Yes.
Is he here in the dream time too? And now, do you want mysteries from me?
You already made a mysteries.
Oh, okay. He is ignoring me?
He will ignore anything you say, yes.
Should have used the paper.
Yeah.
That shouldn't take too long for me to figure out.
Yes.
Simon?
Yeah, you don't even have to make an empathy roll. He isn't turning his head towards you. He didn't react when you said something.
Since he seems to only be paying attention, responding to you, could you maybe inquire as to who else might be in the meantime? And maybe he can act as an intermediary, and we can resolve this without bloodshed.
So, sure, I'll ask. Is Salvatore in the Dreamtime now? Does he visit with any frequency?
So he closes his eyes
Okay.
for about 4 seconds.
Right.
Then he opens his eyes again and says he is in Dreamtime at this point, right now. Whatever.
Right.
He is in the Dreamtime. And that's his entire answer. He doesn't say anything more about it.
Okay.
Oh, I have my dates.
Okay. You'll be late.
On the 7th of April,
Right.
and I will be gone July 21st and 28th.
You got tickets?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Have tickets gone on sale yet?
I went on sale and I totally struck out.
Okay.
I have.
But you're going to be on the sidewalk with a big sign.
No.
Please sell me tickets.
No, I'll be there with a stun gun late at night. No, totally bombed. Totally bombed.
Okay.
Totally,
Yes.
totally
Yes.
out of my ass.
I know you were so tight. You were. Oh. Okay.
Well, I can't think of anything that I personally can do here, so
Yeah.
this is not.
I'm reading about the creator. The Orente creator. A tall, strong man with red skin, long fair hair, and emu legs. With many
Really?
red-skinned wives with dog legs. And children, and I wonder what kind of legs the children have.
Very, very weird. Okay.
Right.
But that is not who you are talking to right now.
Right. I'm trying to figure out what to say to him. What would appeal to him to let us out of the dream time here to proceed to
Why do we want to leave the dream time? Salvatore's in the dream time. We always have to do is find him
Salvatore's
here.
probably dreaming right now. It is that time of day.
It's very early morning. Most people are asleep right now.
Could you arrange for Salvatore to come here and talk to us? Would you?
Okay. Did you ask the first question or the second question, or did you ask them sequentially?
I asked them about as sequentially as I did.
I could.
Thank you.
Good thing we're disguised.
I don't think we look like that anymore. I'm guessing.
So you didn't really notice it at first for some reason, but yeah, you're not disguised anymore. You are yourselves.
Which means what? This means my face looks like mine?
Yeah. I mean, you're looking at the other people now going, wait a minute. Where did their disguises go?
Well, I probably have a lab coat on though. If it's self-image.
Yes.
Oh,
Completely changed clothing without having changed clothing. If it's self-image, then
Also, you're maybe a little confused now thinking about it because you're supposed to be stealthed, and this guy seemed, I mean, the rest of the people are hushed, and yet he seems to be talking and noticing Simon. Though Simon did speak up to
He
him.
broke
So
stealth.
yeah, I suppose we could say he broke stealth.
But I
And-
But so did you.
You tried
No.
to break
No,
well,
I can
you
do
can
actions.
talk, yes, you can do actions without breaking
Breaking
stealth.
stealth.
So maybe that's the problem. Maybe since you're stealthed still and godlike
Yes.
plus whatever, he heard your voice but didn't see you.
Yeah, I should have interested.
Yes.
But did you try to break? I mean, were you breaking stealth when you spoke?
yeah, I would. Because
Okay,
it would
so-
be impolite not to.
And you
Yeah,
also must
I
have.
spoke, and
Yeah.
Yep.
you-
So
That would've broken
Edgy and
hush.
you are the only two people who are still
You
In
would
theory,
expect
hushed.
to be
in theory
hushed.
hushed.
Yes. What do you want to do?
So continue your conversation with him.
Right.
He's still paying attention to you. Though you don't have the environmental bonus of darkness anymore, so whatever. It's slightly less stealth, but it's still in the godlike range.
Okay.
So yeah, he didn't answer the second part.
Yes, he did.
Okay, he didn't directly answer the second part.
Right.
Has permission to go find him. Whereas he may not want to directly act, he may indirectly allow us to act.
He doesn't seem to have done anything to stop you from doing what you've done so far.
Yeah, I suspect that if we wanted to go wander around in the Dreamtime looking for whatever, his reaction would be sure fine. Oh, is that right? Okay, so Rick.
Yep.
What would be a nice native argument that I could use in this situation?
A nice native argument.
I'm being nice and not using Aboriginal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm being
You're gonna get to roll in your
paranoid and not using
academics to figure that one out.
Yep, that's an academics.
that's an academics.
I also
Sure, because you have walked the walk.
Yeah.
You are familiar with these people.
Well, not really, evidently.
Okay, well, if you rolled better, you would say that you were familiar with these people.
Oh,
Average isn't going to do it.
No, it is not.
right. This is how Booma does it, and that makes it a great roll. Now let's see. Well, the question, the real question is, what are we going to do with Salvatore when we do meet him? Fat Sal.
I would be willing to just ask him to stay away, and we'll stay away.
That is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard.
That's fine. We can disagree.
No, we are involved in his son's death. He's just not going to forget that. In no way, shape, or form, it's going to go away.
Yes.
Well, that's sort of true. I mean, thinking about it, you might think that all he would want is you dead. He wouldn't want to slaughter the entire group necessarily. He might consider that payment enough.
You're not saying anything of it's any interest to me at all.
I understand that. But if you think it through, that's probably the conclusion you would come to. You don't want that conclusion, obviously. But it's not that there's absolutely no way that he would agree to something like what you said. It's just that it's an
There's going to
unreasonable
be
thing.
fun.
Yeah, it's an unreasonable thing that he would want.
He is at the point where there will be blood.
It's an eye for an eye sort of situation. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's not the sort. But I can see where Jack might be too.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't know. Scott doesn't know enough about the Australian Aboriginal cultures
Yes, that is true.
to know what type of.
You're thinking of a barter or some sort of deal.
Well, partly it's a what can I offer him, but partly it's a what can I tell him about our relationship with Fat Sal that he would view in a good light. Good light being defined as
More interesting.
something that would that would incline him to let us go on our let us continue to try and deal with Fat Sal.
It doesn't matter what Scott knows. It matters what Simon knows. Simon will know.
Simon doesn't have a knowledge of the Aboriginal.
But
Right.
he is academics and he can roll it. That's the only thing he's got. His academics is higher than anyone else's. That's the only thing I
Well,
can
you
think of.
have quite honestly, someone already did it. They rolled academics and got great, I believe. As
Yeah.
far as,
And okay, what is you for this? You need a specific question. What is your question?
Well, no, I was asked for a thing to tell him.
Right, and the thing you want an argument that you could give to him that would convince him.
To let us exit the dreamtime into our normal world.
Is that specifically what you wanted?
I don't think that's what.
I'm happy with that one.
Okay.
Okay. You
That's,
consider
then
that
that's what
acceptable.
Simon said. All right. So he's already said that he'd be willing to send you home. Send at least Simon home.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's obviously not going to be in the dream time. So you know that there's at least some path where he would let you exit the dream time.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's exit the dream time to somewhere that you guys don't want to be.
Right. Yeah.
Beyond that, you know that you're here almost certainly because of a defensive measure that he put in place.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, you are where he wants you to be. Now, if you think about it a little bit more, the defensive measure has a radius.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sphere. It's possible that if you just exit the sphere, you might exit the dream time.
There is a minor pointer that may work.
But yeah, you're not coming up with anything that would.
Yeah.
There's
There's
no way you
nothing
can
really
coerce him, as far
Yeah.
as you can think of.
And I'm not, and
Maybe put a little more garlic on the back, but that's about it.
and the thing is, coerce, and you know, I wasn't looking for coerce. I was looking for convince. Yeah, and the thing is, you know, what does the Aboriginal society have in the way of?
Well, he's already given you a path to exit the dream time.
Yeah.
And he's probably willing to everybody else as well, even though he's not paying any attention to them.
Yeah, he'll send us to whatever particular hell he has in mind for you.
Not necessarily.
It may not
Home.
necessarily be hell.
Home. Home is not hell for most people. I mean, it is for some people.
It
But
is for some.
So
Yeah, what I was hoping was that there was some kind of
Simon?
Yeah?
The Aborigines aren't necessarily all in it for revenge and such. That isn't generally their attitude.
he doesn't seem to. I mean, if you use any empathy at all, you see he's not angry at
Yep.
you.
Yeah.
He's not trying to hurt you.
So, in the dream time, is it possible that we could actually meet with Sal and maybe curb his enthusiasm for the eye for the eye? Convince him that that isn't his best course of action?
This
And-
is actually the one place you might be able to do that.
and basically come to an arrangement where there doesn't have to be blood if Jack will agree to that as well.
we could certainly try.
Well, I would think that.
So if he just decides to kill Cornelia and Paris, you're okay with that, huh?
No,
No.
I suspect that, well, especially since the walking lie
Jack,
detector
make
and
an academics roll.
and between the walking lie detector and the location we are, I don't think he'd be able to successfully lie to us about coming to an agreement.
You don't have to lie to mislead.
Oh, please!
Well, she had an interaction with him that he interpreted as, "Oh, you want to play?"
Well, that was not play. That was just being annoying.
You want to go outside?
Okay,
Since I'm curious, I look at the Amazon's coin and see if
Always.
it has changed since I have.
always count on Jack. That gets me up to. Academics, right?
That's what he said.
Yep.
I'm at superb. I can't think of a way of getting higher.
Okay.
Unless I can invoke my spirit
No.
bonus.
Well, actually, yes.
Okay, that gets me to fantastic.
You know, okay, so there will be blood, but you know something that Sal might not know. You know who actually killed his son.
I do.
You know the murderer of his son. That is something that you might use as a bargaining chip.
Brett forgot who killed him.
I want to say Mei Ling, but that's not really her
No,
name.
it's Yen Li.
I don't think that'll reduce the amount of blood.
No, but
It may make it not ours.
yes.
Yes. It would certainly have the effect of potentially changing its course.
So yeah, Superb was good enough to get that. I don't know if you had thought of it before, but
I'm willing to have a dialogue with them. I mean, if things go to hell, who knows? And things will happen, right? But
The problem with altered states is that they cannot be resolved in a truly scientific manner.
well, they can be.
Well,
I mean, there are antidotes for drugs.
Yes, they're
You could be brought down in that. I mean, if it's a drug-induced state, then
but to my knowledge, I didn't get exposed to anything.
maybe there's a gas in this
Maybe.
in this
If
church.
there was a gas, you should have been allowed to make a roll against it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a
but you
game
don't. But
mechanic
yeah, that's
that
a
isn't an
as a character, you don't know necessarily when you get to make a roll.
All Jack knows is that
Okay.
his mind is as strong as his body.
I'll be
His
back in a
will
minute.
is like iron.
Well, I don't think his will is quite as strong as I mean, the ability of it for him to bend iron is a little bit more than.
You're being literal. Consider it iron willed. Consider it like the thing. It just doesn't quit.
I think that talking to Sal might be useful. I hope it could come to something where he could be dissuaded from this course of revenge, but at very least,
He isn't threatening you or your loved ones. So your opinion on this has not as much weight. Edgy, Simon, and me, on the other hand, are being directly affected.
revenge has a nasty habit of spreading out rather than converging.
So, ask the guy who won't talk to me to summon him.
Or ask for directions.
Or invite him.
Invite Sal.
Your suggestion was ask that guy to invite Sal to come here and see us.
Mm-hmm.
I could try that one. Would you be willing to invite Sal from wherever he is in the dreamtime to come here and talk to us?
Would you declare a truce?
Yes.
would you swear an oath to it?
Yes.
And the others? He actually seemed to acknowledge that there was somebody other than Simon here.
I'm willing to, provided that the truce is two-way. Yes.
What are the conditions of this truce?
Well, he's not acknowledging you that much. But if Simon asks the same thing.
What conditions would you have in mind, and what oath would you like?
No hostilities.
Okay.
While you are both within this building.
Okay. Gentlemen?
And
Lady?
you swear upon your soul.
Okay.
Each of you must swear upon your soul.
No hostilities while we're standing within this building.
While you're within this building.
So
I didn't say standing.
So as long as we're within this building, and this building is like it is, and we are inside.
Well, he's not actually answering you, but.
I would be willing to swear, but I think it may more if I swore on science than
Something that doesn't actually exist according to you.
I don't know that Annie would deny that there is a soul.
Okay.
We're
Well, she might be an agnostic and think there's no evidence for it, but there's no evidence against it.
Yes.
So,
It
but
is-
this
it is-
person seems convinced that
that
that's
there
a
is.
real oath that you could take.
I'll swear it.
Annie will swear it, but she'll say and science. Because that's something she believes in.
So as long as we are within this building, as the building is standing.
You're trying to change his words.
He's not responding if you're saying that. If you're asking Simon to say it,
Well,
And
That's my-
Simon's not willing to say that one.
Did he acknowledge when Annie gave you?
yeah,
He
you
has
haven't
asked us-
given the oath yet.
Yeah, he's yes. We're still at the. Is everybody going to agree to this oath?
Oh, okay.
you're gonna make my work a lot harder, but okay.
And Edgy agrees that he would swear the oath as well. All right.
We agree.
All right. Starting with you, and suddenly out of like nowhere, this very gnarled sort of short it's about that long
Right.
staff, piece of wood, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
appears in his hand, and he holds it up. Touch the staff and make the oath.
I swear upon my soul that I will maintain truth with Salvatore as long as we are within this building.
Truce with. I think you said
Truce.
truth.
Truce. Yeah. I
But
meant to say truce.
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 All right. And okay, that's an aspect that you have just put upon yourself, basically. Next, you.
And I repeat the oath. I swear upon my soul that I shall maintain a truce with Salvatore
While you're inside.
while we are within this
while
building.
you're within this building. All right.
And thank you, Grandma.
And next you, and you say it, but with and
science.
upon my soul and science. So he's actually paying attention to you two when you're swearing the oath, and you both have acquired an aspect now.
Mhm.
And next he holds out the staff directly to where you are. Well, I mean, you haven't moved, and your voice kept coming from the same spot, so.
rabbit, how hard does it feel?
Not it's ironwood, maybe hardness. So not steel. You could crush it.
You think?
I mean, it would probably be a bad idea.
Yeah.
Something bad might happen. It's almost certainly a mystic artifact of some sort.
Just an idea.
Anyway,
I
you
swear
swear the
upon-
oath
I
basically the same as everybody
I
else.
swear upon my soul that I will remain true to Salvatore while I'm in this building.
Okay, he's satisfied. You've acquired an aspect of this oath, and then Edgy had spoken actually before as well, so he broke stealth. So when the guy holds the stick out to Edgy, and Edgy makes the exact same, and somebody should mark down that Edgy also has this aspect.
You realize that this is bad, right? 'Cause he can
Only
tag.
while you're in this building is it bad.
It can be tagged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since he put it on us, he knows what it is.
Well, yes.
Yes.
That's kind of the point.
He's also as close to a neutral party as we are going to find anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, Simon, why don't you make yet another mysteries roll?
Epic.
Okay, so typically when you sense the aura of a centurion, you sense the positive nature of the person.
Mm-hmm.
If you spend the time to sense the aura of, as long as it's not being disguised or hidden, the aura of a shadow, you can sense a negative.
Right.
This guy doesn't seem to have either, and yet he seems to be as powerful as any spirit or shadow that you've met. I mean, he's, well, okay, that's not exactly true. The lady is more powerful than him. So he's like the second most powerful mysteries person that you've met.
Okay. Scott would have expected it to be third, but
Lucifer.
I would have expected
Lucifer.
Lucifer.
Lucifer isn't a person.
Well, there is that. I'm not certain he's a person.
Okay, you can think that as if you wish.
I said I'm not certain.
Yeah. Yes, he might be beyond what you would consider a human being.
Right.
That is true. All right.
I'm
So
really
what's
believe he started out as a person.
He's
I'm not
become
certain
an
he's
archetype.
Yes.
possible.
So, so after you've all made the oath, he closes his eyes and you feel sort of a
So when I say building, I mean in the church.
Mhm.
yes.
Whatever this edifice is, it's the building.
Yes. So, everybody who wants to can make a mysteries roll.
Sure. Can I spend to make it lower?
You absolutely can if you want to.
Let's see if it's worth it. Well, it's only at a -2 right now.
It's fair.
That is
Well, not quite good enough. Sorry.
that,
It doesn't have to be epic.
That's only terrible.
Well, I'm not spending a fate point on a mysteries roll
Why? It's a mystery
Because-
environment.
because
Yours is academic.
I've got
Because you've got Simon standing next to
Simon
you.
standing right over here. I'm sure Simon will tell me anything I need to know in the mysteries department.
Let's see.
Okay.
Edgy spends a fate point.
Priest of Khan.
Yes.
Good enough.
Okay.
Tapestries of Egypt.
Every problem has solutions, and then it's never easy, especially with mysteries.
All right. So, what is your final?
Legend, epic.
All right. So, the two of you both feel like pulsing out of him some mysteries energy, like, you know, the nature of it is a calling. He's calling someone or something.
I'll leave mine at terrible.
And at epic, I'm going to say you can tell that he's calling Fat Sal. Unfortunately, Edgy, even with his fate point, only got superb, and so he just feels energy pulsing out of the guy.
Excuse me. I had a big dinner.
Or I'm extremely bored.
And 2 beers.
Okay, well that might.
And 2 beers could account for much.
Yeah. All right. So there's a series of pulses, and then they stop, and he's still sitting there with his eyes closed. Time is passing.
Turn around and look. We're in the dream time. Time is
Yeah, you're having a hard time.
time is highly malleable
Yeah.
in dream time.
Anybody with a wristwatch is looking at your wristwatch and going, why is the second hand not moving? Something is wrong with your watches. All of you who have watches and look at them.
I'm not going to bother.
All right.
I have a watch. I'm not bothering
It's
to
a
look at it.
magnetic field that magnetizes all the watches.
I'm curious enough. Is it still ticking?
Make an investigations roll.
And as I recall, the headset doesn't work in here. Hasn't been working. So this is never mind.
So how bad is that?
Assuming I am going off of my base investigation of average, it is only mediocre.
Well, this is a hearing roll, so I don't think your goggles would do anything.
Not really. So, yep. Mediocre.
Mediocre isn't going to get it for you.
No. Can't tell.
So, time passes, but you're really not sure how much time.
Could be anywhere between a couple of seconds and until tomorrow. Well, until next
I
night.
mean, you really don't know. It's
We're in the dream time.
nothing is changing.
We're in the dream time. Who
It's
cares?
not like the sun is rising or setting at all. It's still sunlight coming in through the windows. He's not moving. In fact, you aren't noticing him breathing at all either. But
Are
eventually,
we noticing ourselves breathing?
yes,
Okay.
it's something that you would do automatically because it's part of your self
Image.
image.
Which
So
is
even
why
if you don't need to breathe, you're still breathing. Anyway, so everybody make alertness rolls.
Well, that I've got a chance
Okay, that's probably ridiculous.
Awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
mediocre.
No. What you get?
Fantastic.
All right, that's good enough. So somebody is walking up. There's doors back there. There's a couple of doors. You don't know where they lead to, but the one over there, somebody's walking up to it. Like there's a hallway back behind that door, apparently. And you can tell that somebody's about to come through the door. They haven't come through the door yet, but they're on their way here. And you don't know that until the door itself actually opens.
Am I still stealth?
Yes. Nobody else is in hush, though. So, yes, moments later, the door opens and out comes Fat Sal. He's,
Fat?
Younger and less fat.
he's not younger, he's not less fat.
Okay.
Apparently his self-image is of
Of
himself,
himself.
as he is. He, however, is wearing like a silk kimono for some reason.
I think he's got a softer side.
But it isn't Japanese style or Chinese style. It's very plain. It's like just a red silk. I mean, it's almost like a nightshirt, but it's made of silk.
He has a taste for the finer things.
Anyway, so he sees you people, and if you want to make empathy rolls,
Sure.
I mean, he sees most of you people. He doesn't see Jack. Well, let me see. No, he doesn't see Jack. Even isn't going to get me up to godlike.
Average.
Yeah, I think I'd better. I'll even re-roll an empathy roll.
Okay.
I'm good. For empathy.
Are the rings and etc. working here? No, I'll be oblivious.
Yes,
Okay.
because your artifact
Is doing the anti-magic suppression.
Yes.
Okay, then that will be awe-inspiring.
He is not happy to see you and did not know that he would be seeing you. So he starts moving towards you in somewhat of an aggressive fashion. And as he gets about 30 feet away, the guy on the altar turns to him and says, "You are under truce while in this building." He's actually telling him this.
Right.
He's not giving him any sort of choice.
Which tells me something about the relationship between this guy and Fat Sal.
Well, there are special circumstances.
Yeah, it's telling me something about.
So, yeah, I'll let, yeah. If you guys got fantastic or better on your empathy, you're still reading him, and he is not happy with this, but you're pretty sure that he's listening to this guy and will obey, basically. So he gets up sort of even with the altar, and he's looking at you. Those he can see, he's not looking at you. But you can tell he's,
I'm maneuvering behind him.
We were wondering if it was possible to come to some sort of resolution that didn't involve unnecessary amounts of violence.
You might want to rephrase that.
Yeah,
Fat Cell says that.
the definition of unnecessary is highly personal.
I'm sorry. I really am not the type that usually deals with this all that much.
I think you might want to
Not to
leave
say-
this to someone who's
but-
better at negotiating.
The problem is,
Okay.
I left diplomacy home.
Well, way to go.
Is it self-image that you would have of it?
No,
Okay.
that's the list of the ones I brought.
Okay, well, you don't want to use that first one.
Yeah.
The second one is useful here. That's not helpful. That's not helpful. That's not helpful. That's not helpful. That one might be helpful in certain situations. You don't want to use that. That's not helpful. That's not helpful. And those aren't helpful.
Yeah, about the only
When did
ones
we
in
bring
that
the
segment that I
Mandarin?
really think considered to be likely to be helpful in this situation is the empathy.
Empathy and resolve.
Yeah,
Resolve might come in handy.
possibly.
If he's trying to convince you of something,
Yeah.
then you might want to defend with resolve. So,
Does
you have
anybody
maneuvered behind him.
Does anybody actually have diplomacy at anything better than
What is
mediocre?
diplomacy off of?
There's
diplomacy.
rapport.
rapport?
Rapport.
Okay.
There's no diplomacy.
I have it on F there.
Okay.
There.
And there are stunts that could give you rapport in this sort of situation.
Yeah.
I have.
I have one, but it would be very strange to use it for that.
The other choker. So I heard average.
There.
Fair?
No report.
Oh, fair.
It's
Okay.
mediocre. I have reported mediocre.
I have it there, so I guess I can restart if somebody else doesn't want to take it.
So, after he says that, he starts looking around. Where's John Doe?
Usually we don't know. I don't think he's even involved, is he?
I assume Jack is around somewhere.
Yes.
Jack is standing behind you.
As I said, I assume you were around somewhere.
Yeah,
And John Doe has nothing to do with this.
He is an associate of yours.
I once put a bullet in him.
I find that hard to believe.
Always count on Jack. It's a fantastic rapport roll.
So now he believes you. Really?
relationships can get complicated. And if you want a report roll for that,
Oh, that's fine.
that's a basic truth. Relationships can get
I
complicated.
was just thinking that maybe he is a little better at negotiating than
The
you
rest
people.
of us.
Yeah, he is.
Probably.
Pity's not here. But unfortunately, he has an agenda that he's following. And he's definitely a loner. Most of the time.
He's been with you on a number of occasions.
There's a number of occasions when he's not, and those outnumber it 10 to 1.
Are you sure you would rather talk to someone who's at least willing to be civil than speaking with you, son? And I'll make a report for that if you want.
Sure.
even that isn't going to be enough, I don't think.
Then you go embarrassing here. He's got rapport. It's great. And he's got stunts.
Yeah, well,
But he's not here.
I think I will try a reroll, although that is usually a bad idea. This would count as prevent unnecessary violence, I think. Showing
At least from
someone-
Annie's point of view.
From Annie's point of view. What violence is necessary from her point of view? Yeah. Well, that's an improvement.
+1.
+1.
So he's got a fate point.
And yep, I'm just trying to. I think flexibility is the key, seems reasonable. So that brings the rapport up to superb. Yeah, because it starts at fair, +1 is good, +2 is superb. Yes.
well, anyone other than Jack would probably qualify for that.
Of those present, I have to agree with you, I'm afraid.
I don't understand the animosity. So I can make a guess.
So the guy sitting on the altar who hasn't really been paying any attention after he told Salvatore this turns to Salvatore and says, should this John Doe be here? I mean, because Sal seems to think that he should be here, apparently. And Sal looks at you guys and says, well,
Ask him if he wants to make Baba Yaga angry.
and the guy on the altar actually pays attention to you for a moment. He turns and looks to where you are and says, no one wants to make Baba Yaga angry.
And I suggest you leave John Doe where he is.
So that's actually not true.
I'll roll deceit then.
Please roll deceit. I mean, you understand that John Doe and Baba Yaga have a relationship, but it's not he has to be at her beck and call or he has to stay in Russia.
Well, John Doe doesn't have to be in Russia at all.
That's true.
His extended stay in Switzerland and France is a pretty good proof of that.
Epic. It's very unlikely I can get
If
better
it
on a
would
reroll.
not, if it would not bother John Doe, I think it might help us resolve this peacefully.
I agree with that.
I would prefer not to drag him into this. Since he didn't agree to come
So,
That's just it. I mean,
We
here
did ask him
is-
to-
so the guy on the altar says that isn't true. If I were to bring John Doe here, that would not anger Baba Yaga. And Sal actually looks kind of confused because he didn't make his roll.
Listen, it's very unlikely I can roll better.
I
than
understand,
+2 on a
but this
second
guy
roll.
has a lot of benefits here.
Personally, I think if John Doe would not object, it might help us resolve this in a way that is
mutually beneficial. Well, maybe not beneficial, but at least mutually non-bloodletting.
yes. would not affect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring it. Have the fellow bring it.
I mean, this is the dream time. Don't be surprised if when it's over, your watch says exactly the same moment that we came in here.
Also, wouldn't be surprised. If it's a couple weeks
And from
now.
Annie's point of view, altered mental states can affect
Affect
the experience of
perceptions.
time, the perception of time.
Yep.
Can very, very much be affected.
And we have all sorts of theories on how to affect the flow of time.
Flow of
even
time
without
itself, that's true.
Altered states. Especially when you are trying to go forward in time, it is much easier to affect the flow of time. The whole divide by zero and such makes
Yeah, I know.
a number of things undefined when
So that's
you try to.
that, and then that gives you that, right? Okay, so the guy on the altar. Everybody make another mysteries roll.
Oh, I only
Epic.
got mediocre.
It's never easy.
Why do you have two phones right there?
That one's mine and that one's work.
Work, okay.
I refuse to let work on my personal phone.
That is actually a good idea.
Yeah, it is a really good idea.
Work insists on being able to remotely wipe any phone that is.
Ew.
Or
Yeah.
I've never had that as a thing that they wanted.
I should say
Always play on
my
Jack.
former employer.
Epic.
Okay, those of you who got fantastic or above, he closes his eyes, and then it's like he's both still there but not there. You feel sort of a departure.
Isn't bilocation fun?
It's right there.
It's yes, he is right there, sitting there with his eyes closed.
Okay, he's probably getting John Doe as we speak.
I no sooner get to the bathroom
Energy
when I hear
usage
everybody
up here.
make.
It's another
what is
mysteries
this
roll.
thing?
Okay.
That's
You needed to hit
that's
fantastic
power
or
received from the
above.
grid.
Never mind.
Okay.
So if you roll
so
a plus
you spent
6,
most of the day
Yeah.
not using
Well,
the grid.
no,
That's
a
really
plus
good.
4
plus
instead
four,
of
no,
8
fate
points.
That's power
Plus-
used from the
Well,
grid.
what?
It's a negative value.
Oh,
No.
Okay.
Overall, you're coming out pretty darn good, though.
Well, that's but you see,
The
yeah,
scale
we can
is
look at
weird
we can
enough.
look at the other two.
Okay.
That's your
No.
stocks.
What this means is that we fed power back into the grid.
Okay.
So. Oh, yeah.
Yes, we sold electricity to the power company this afternoon.
Yay! Yay!
That's good.
At prime value.
So.
After an indeterminate period of time.
After an indeterminate period of time, he opens his eyes again, and then, sort of right down there, where you, in the general area where you guys are, a person appears. It's difficult to look at him, though. You look at him, and you know what a double exposure looks like, right? Imagine 8 exposure, but like physically right there.
So sort of like a human universal gadget.
He's not resolving into a single person at all.
Well,
It's-
you have to do a resolve roll. See if I can do this.
Yeah, if you want to make resolve rolls.
Sure.
That's a wash. So.
Twilight +1.
Okay, that's good enough. Your target is awe-inspiring in case anybody cares.
Yeah, no, you weren't even close.
At that
Really? I
time-
thought resolve was one of your...
Well,
Oh, you didn't
it's
roll.
ordinarily good,
Alright, yeah.
but we already pointed out it's not something I have any enhancement on right now,
Oh,
and I rolled a -2.
alright. Anyway,
So mine was superb. And I would have been happy to just recognize one of them as John Doe.
so, yes, you can... It's John Doe, but it's also
Ivan Ivanovich,
Joe
and-
Bloggs, Heinrich Müller, Jean LeBlanc, Ivan Ivanov, Paul Martin,
Johann Schmidt.
Johann Schmidt, and Peter Petrovsky. I don't know which of those you've seen before, but you've seen a number of them, and you recognize them as superimposed over the same person. Like he's all of them.
John, the dreamtime does not do good for your looks.
Well, I can see things just fine.
Well, it's a challenge, but yes, you can.
Strong body, strong mind.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's a good aspect.
So,
I like that one. I tried to convince him not to bring him here, but I got overruled.
So, Salvatore is looking at the new person who's appeared here, and let me make this roll. He's very confused, but he appears to have resolved. I mean, he seems to be able to look at these people all in one body and resolve them. He rolled a +3, so. And he does have a very, yes, he's kind of like you in the respect of strong body, strong mind. Anyway, so, in multiple voices,
In harmony?
Probably not.
no, John Doe says,
In synchrony,
I am here to make a negotiation with you, Salvatore. You can call me John Doe, which, I guess. he decided to be kind and just give one name. So.
It kind of
And
confirmed
he's-
that appearance confirmed some suspicions I had about John Doe, even if I didn't pick up
All of
anything in particular out of it.
Yeah, you know that apparently his self-image is all 8 of those people.
Right.
He is those people. It's not one person and then the rest are disguises. He literally is 8 people. Which makes him very, difficult to look at in the dream time.
Yeah, and yet at the same time fascinating to look at.
Well,
There is that.
he doesn't look like anything else you've ever seen. So, Salvatore says, well, my initial position is I would be satisfied merely with the permanent death of Jack. And John Doe says, well, I would be satisfied with nobody dying. Can we work this out?
Why Jack? I will ask that.
I have reason to believe that he is responsible for the death of my son. And John Doe looks at you and says, did you kill his son?
No.
Are you responsible for the death of his son?
I'm not the one who stuck the knives in them.
Do you know who did?
Yes.
Would you be willing to tell Salvatore who killed his son?
Yes.
And Salvatore's actually thinking right now. He's like,
We didn't let you answer the first question before asking the second one.
I would roll an empathy roll to see if saying something else would help, but my empathy's so lousy, I don't know if it would do any good.
I don't think it does harm if you roll abysmal in all cases. It can.
with an empathy, it actually can. You can get the wrong idea if you roll negative enough.
I won't roll negative, but I can't get very high.
Yeah.
I mean, the best I can do is fantastic, and that's if I roll perfect.
Yeah.
And use a fate point.
Yeah. If you kill the person who killed my son and bring the body to me, I will call off the vendetta. And he's actually saying it to all of you.
I'm not interested in propagating murder.
The person who you would be killing is a murderer.
The person you were
The
killing.
person killed my son.
The person is a criminal who kills people. And everyone else in the organization is a criminal. And some of them kill people.
I don't see justice in a single one of my aspects.
It's because you're a mad scientist.
I'm assuming this argument is not actually happening
I'm
verbally.
I'm not saying that, but
No.
it's just.
No, Brad is saying that, and Steve is saying that.
Yes.
I,
Yes, I'm assuming that.
it should not take a strong empathy role to know that Annie really is a strong argument in any case, but
So
You guys realize that we'll be starting a war. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll probably will.
well, okay. From a player perspective, yes, you know that.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you, Simon.
Because instead of being responsible for the death of Big Tony, who is Salvatore's son, you would be responsible for the death of Yen Li, who is Yen Xin's granddaughter. He probably would not take kindly to that. There's a limit to what he can do. He is in prison and has sworn certain oaths, but he wouldn't be happy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of going to prison. Paying a visit.
So I'm going to let you as players think about this for a while. And if you want to, as characters, have discussions, I'm fine with that.
No, I'd rather do the character. We'll be starting a war.
That's not my problem, says Salvatore.
I'm talking to everyone else. It will take a while to resolve.
I really have more interesting things I'd rather be doing than either the vendetta or the war. I'm not sure that either would be profitable. I'm pretty sure that both of them will be a
Frying
problem.
pan fire.
Well,
I would rather identify the person and let your people handle the.
No, that's not what's on offer.
You have a vendetta against somebody who didn't kill your son, and you're turning down the information that will let you identify the person you should have the vendetta
I can
against.
find that out myself.
We're just making it easier for you.
That's not worth it. You drove me from my home.
Why did we drive him from his home? That's Pat talking.
Because Jack identified him as basically being in charge of the criminal syndicate for the city of New York.
Ah, okay.
Really, the active head was Big Tony.
But the puppet master was.
Well, that Sal had retired years ago. And so while he was letting his son run everything.
Yep, the son was doing all of the work. Sal would just make recommendations and occasionally take care of an inconvenient DA.
Mm-hmm. So everybody should probably, on that last statement of Sal's, you should probably make another empathy roll.
Legendary.
Okay.
Mediocre.
Well,
Well, I'm better than that anyway.
so
Yeah,
Sal
there.
seems to think that while this other person might have killed his son, that somebody in your group is in some way responsible. Like he has gotten some information somehow that the blame falls on somebody in your group. So he seems to be very resistant to merely getting information as being enough. And I should do that as well. Yes, and yeah, I got it.
I can't read them.
So that's information that your character has that you could communicate with other people if you want.
He's, I think, trying to decide how to communicate it.
Yeah. And I think the plain blunt outright way is probably the best. So, Sal, you think that one of us, if not if not actually the killer, is a strong contributor?
Yes.
I'm not.
The question was asked and answered.
Yep.
And that was the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he says it is kind of odd. But you seem to understand what he means.
Yeah.
Because you could do the exact same thing. You could ask that question and it would be answered.
Mm-hmm.
The specific question. And in fact, Jack could do the same sort of thing. He would do it with a tarot deck. Well, is it... John Doe says, I don't care. I mean, if we're going to kill a criminal, that's fine with me. A murderous criminal. What sort of war would we be starting? I have no idea who this is that you need to kill.
I'll move over to the shifting horns.
He's not shifting. He's stably 8 different people.
He is
If you just flip
coexisting.
it through all of them, like a revolving door.
All at the same time. Anyway, so you move over to him, and because you are stealth, yes, you can whisper in his ear without...
Or even write on my mystical pen and paper.
Yeah.
And I write down Minchin's daughter,
Granddaughter.
granddaughter.
Okay, that would start a war. You are correct.
No kidding.
I guess it depends on who you're more afraid of. I think I would be more afraid of Salvador. He is out and about, whereas that person has limited means of revenge, especially within certain contractual bounds. Because you did make him swear that he wouldn't be committing any more crimes. And he'd give himself up to the authorities and remain in prison as long as he is supposed to remain in prison, which he was sentenced to
long
like
time.
300 years or something ridiculous like that.
A very, very long time.
A very, very long time. Even with good behavior, that's going to be a long time. So it's up to you guys. It sounds like we have an agreement where none of us die, and where somebody who might deserve to be dead will die, even though that's inconvenient for you. It's a little less inconvenient for me, I understand. But,
No, it'll bother you too. Because they will find out where your library is, where your facility in New York, and they will burn it to the ground. And anyone who's inside.
and that would be inconvenient for me, yes. But it's a little harder to track me personally down and kill me.
Yeah, but you can attend Betty's funeral. And
I
Hawks.
understand. That would be bad. I wouldn't want that. If you want to make an empathy roll,
I don't think I want to.
she,
I'm not gonna do any well. Okay, I got an average. No, I got mediocre again.
all right, yeah, then you don't get
Yes, I know.
it.
I'm not getting anything.
If you want to make an empathy roll,
Sure.
This is not one of my highest skills. Okay.
That would be a fantastic empathy roll.
okay, he's not trying to disguise it that much. Yeah, she's a sucker and a big sucker. The fact that she wants to marry him,
Has no effect.
it's
on
not mutual. He is a con man, and that's how he looks at her. So yes, it would be inconvenient. She's a human being.
But
And more
But-
importantly, I'm losing my money.
Yes, he would lose access to that money. But guess what?
It's a stunt.
It's a stunt. It would
He
come
believes-
back.
He believes
and
he could find
from his
somebody
own
else.
mind, he would think, I would just con somebody else. It's always easy to get money. You just find the person who has it and get it from them. They willingly give it to
Like Betty's younger sister.
you. Whatever. So it doesn't seem to bother John Doe at all, as much as you might think it would about the Betty dying.
Yeah, not really. Not really surprised by that one.
Yeah.
As I said, I don't think I would make the.
No, you would be disappointed in him.
And
But that's
Simon has
literally the way that John Doe thinks.
and-
She is an asset. That is what she is.
Now, if it were what's her name, that one could be iffier. Can't remember her name. The former centurion.
I mean, Miss Faust.
Yes.
Former centurion.
Is she?
Some people find the rules of the Century Club a little too confined.
No, She made a promise to a shadow, and she's keeping her word, even though she was keeping her word until, even though she's doing things that she found irrehensible. But deal's a deal.
Anyway, so if you guys want to continue discussing it, I think we have as long as you want, says John Doe. And when he says that, he looks at his watch and goes, "Yep."
As long as you want.
As long as you want. Because he has a wristwatch on as well.
Yeah. I'll leave it up to you, Jack.
I'm still feeling this is not a good deal.
Come up with a better idea then. You're supposed to be smart. Think of something. Because I'm out of options. You came up with a great idea with the camera in Hawaii. That was a great idea.
So you're saying that basically to the rest of the group. Come up with a better idea, or that's the idea we're going with.
Yeah. Simon isn't.
I would say the better idea would be assist him to the extent that, well, I don't even know what's happening.
You don't know who the person is.
Yeah.
Because Jack didn't show you the piece of paper with the name on it. He showed John Doe.
Yeah, I don't know all of what happened.
And you've heard John Doe say things in relation to it.
And I have been assured that he's dead. So, but really, it just seems like she's getting an awful deal either way. I had enough war with the Great War, and I wasn't even on the lines.
You know, it wouldn't literally be a war. It would be a conflict. There would not be armies involved. This is John Doe talking.
Yeah.
It would be tongue hatchet men.
You don't say that.
If you say it, I'm going to shoot you. That's a really stupid thing to say.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I will assure you that your character would not say that.
Yeah.
Because that would be way more information than you want to give away right now.
Yeah.
Yes, Jack would be incredibly furious if your character just said that.
I didn't.
Good. I mean, you might notice that John Doe, even though he knows now who it is,
Has not
said anything that's going to define who it is that would be against you after you did this.
I can't show it to her because she'll blab it out.
Well, you know, some
Yeah,
people aren't
scientists,
especially good at keeping secrets.
Yes. You think. But it's the mad part.
Well, scientists are terrible at keeping secrets. They write journals all the time.
Find one. Fine.
Yes. Anyway.
It's under a different name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides,
So,
for a woman,
do the
guys are
characters
always
want
going
to
take it.
discuss this some more?
Or do we just go with it?
If it takes, you know, say a long time, we won't specify what a long time is. John Doe will occasionally prompt you. Is this going to be decided anytime soon?
I'm good with the plan.
You're good with his plan.
Yeah, because I made an alternate suggestion. It got shot down. I haven't heard any others.
What was your alternate suggestion?
That we just identify the person.
And, he
And
wasn't
then he
satisfied.
takes care of it.
Okay. I got no better suggestion.
And Salvador heard that suggestion and rejected it.
I have a suggestion.
Okay, you have an alternate suggestion.
Yes. Before.
All right.
Okay, you're supposed to roll a 4. Roll crap. It's never easy. Okay, that's much better. Always bet on Jack. Okay, I got legendary.
Alrighty.
And so, what if I bring you the person who murdered your son and you killed him? That way you can take personal pleasure in ending the life of the one who ended your son's life.
Amazingly old school of you.
Legendary.
Mm-hmm.
And probably something that he would value. That
Not good enough.
Personal touch. Can't beat that.
I will have the dead body. I will be happy with that. Anybody want to make an empathy roll?
Sure.
Sure.
That doesn't have it. Even if I roll +4, I use a fate point.
Fantastic.
Yeah. 4.
Empathy, right?
Yeah.
So, and you got fantastic. All I could do is match you if I wanted to. Still, it'd be nice to actually be in on some of this.
What the hell?
I'm not using the fate point to get the average, okay? It's just a waste of time. I tried to come up with an alternate. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was pretty convincing.
I think I'll go with prevent unnecessary violence. If I have some understanding of what's going on, I might be able to affect it.
So there are two things, two reasons why he is going to reject this. Number one, he wants the trouble to descend on you guys for killing whoever this is. Two, apparently he thinks that once he has the corpse, that he can do something about what happened. Like, you are really not sure, but the rest of you think some sort of bring her back and kill her again, or attach her soul somehow to her corpse and torment it. It's a very dark sort of intention he has once he has the dead body.
I would get that he has some very dark intentions.
Yes. Anyway.
Oh, I just had a horrible idea. Oh, this could be fun after all.
Who says we have to look like us?
Can anyone else think of a better idea? Because my alternate got shot down too. And I can't roll any better. I happen to get a +4.
Yeah.
And I used the fate point.
Yeah.
So I can't do any better.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay, if I used my spirit bonus, I could have been awe-inspired.
Yeah, this is not a justice thing. Definitely not a ruthless justice thing. This is, yeah.
This is just plain dirty.
Yeah. So, is anybody going to come up with something else? Are we?
This won't heal anything.
It will
At
make
all.
me feel better, says Salvatore.
Are you certain?
Yes.
I think you've got a very different version of feeling better than I do.
That's fine. I am a different person than you are. I understand that.
Do we take it or not?
Can you think of an alternate? I'm asking people here. What does
I
Richie
can't.
think?
You can.
I cannot.
Can't.
Okay.
he said.
Cannot.
Then we
Nobody
do.
else seems to be thinking of it. Okay, so
So
are we then agreed?
I guess
Says
we are.
Salvatore.
You want the corpse. How much of the corpse are you going to require?
The whole corpse.
Minus a few bullet holes.
If there's puncture wounds or bullet holes, I don't care.
What if it's in a few pieces?
As long as all of the pieces are there.
Shelley really was writing fiction at the time, right?
He laughs. He does. And it is not a nice laugh.
Not a nice laugh.
Shelley's make-believe story grew something out of a pot of chemicals. I think in Hollywood.
The original was more about frogs and electricity.
There was no electricity.
What?
Well,
There was no-
the idea came from the galvanic. Never mind.
It was cellular, induced cellular
Yes.
growth. It wasn't zapping a corpse with.
No,
Right.
it wasn't zapping a corpse with electricity. That was Hollywood's
Yes.
invention, I believe. But
It was.
The original idea.
So, I will request that you each swear an oath that this will happen. And then we will send you out of Alice Springs. You will go and do it and bring back the corpse. And then I will be done with you.
That isn't really good enough, since that gives you free reign to interfere with us as much as you want while we're trying to do this.
I will swear that I won't, and obviously I'm going to swear that once this is done to my satisfaction, that I will be done with the vendetta, that I will call it off.
Are you going to remain retired?
Of course.
This is not going to be making more mystery in the world. It's funny. In the Great War, Italy was our ally.
Well, Salvatore is
Oh.
Sicilian. They have different ideas of allies.
Yeah. Not all allies are the same.
So line up. You're going to be making an oath. And the guy on the altar opens his eyes again. He holds out his stick. And actually, Salvatore steps up first. And he swears an oath on his soul that he will not interfere with your activities while you are going to kill and bring back this person. And that if you do this to his satisfaction, which means you bring back the full corpse to him, he will call off the vendetta. And that's the vendetta. The vendetta, call off the vendetta is sort of a technical term for him. It means that he will no longer oppose you or attack you. He'll still defend himself if you guys attack him.
I wasn't attacking him in the first place. place.
Yeah. Anyway,
I'm
so
confident.
it's not like he'd never attack you. If you're trying to kill him, he wouldn't just let you do that.
Right.
But he will call off the vendetta, and so he seems entirely sincere about this. If anybody wants to make an empathy roll,
See a lot.
that's a pretty good roll.
That's
pretty
inspired.
terrible
Yeah.
roll.
You're sure that he'll if you do as he says, if you fulfill this agreement, he's not going to be attacking you anymore. As long as you don't attack him.
Which,
I mean, if you burn Alice Springs to the ground, the town he lives in, he would probably react to that.
Right.
But otherwise, I mean, he's going to stay retired. He's not going to attack you. He's not going to interfere with your going out and killing whoever this is and bringing their corpse back. So each of you then swear another oath and have another aspect added.
I looked at John. Would it be sufficient that I do not abandon my friends while they're on this?
You know, I think so. As long as somebody in the group swears that this is going to happen.
I do not really want.
You don't all have to. It's not, you know,
So I
Julius
look
Caesar
at-
on the steps.
I-
You
I
don't each
look-
have to
yes.
stab whoever
Yes.
this is.
I then look to Salvatore and
That's fine. As long as one of you carries out the action, I don't care.
then my oath will be that I won't abandon them as they do this.
John Doe also makes the oath. So it's a little confusing because
Yeah.
when he
Do you have
says
to do it
I
8 times?
name,
What comes out for name is
it's very hard to understand what he says because it's 8 voices.
all the same.
All at the same time. And for some reason, John Doe. Okay, everybody can make an empathy roll. Well, that's not a very good roll. Well, that's not
It's
bad.
never easy. I got fantastic.
Okay, so when John Doe mentions his soul, he's doing it a little bit uncertainly. Like there might be something,
Else have a claim on it.
some
might be
other possible claim on his
There
soul.
might be a prior claim.
It doesn't mean there'll be a war.
So he makes the oath, and it seems to bind him the way it binds all of you.
Mhm.
But yeah, he was a little bit more hesitant. If you're fantastic or above,
Yeah, which I wasn't.
It was.
he's the way he says soul is just that much weird. It's like something about his soul is not 100% certain.
I'll write on my notepad. We'll have to talk about your soul at a later time. I'll show it to him.
Fine. Father. Anyway. So you all go through, you make the oath. Yours is different than everybody else's, apparently.
Yeah.
Edgy makes the oath as well. And once everybody's done with their oaths, the old guy says, link hands.
Hands linked.
And
We do.
John Doe does it as well. And the guy says, not you. And he points at John Doe. Okay. John Doe then disappears.
Right?
And then the rest of you, you're now outside of the sphere, basically,
Okay.
and no longer in Dreamtime.
That was.
Oh, we didn't tell him the name.
That's true.
Yes.
The name wasn't required as part of it.
Okay.
Just the corpse.
The physical corpse.
Of the person who killed his son.
Well, am I glad I didn't do it myself? One of the smartest moves I've ever made.
The physical corpse.
Yeah, there's no way you would have if you had actually killed him, there's no way you could have satisfied him. You would have had to go to war with him, and I promise you it would not be easy. Somebody who can slip in and out of Dreamtime at will and is 124 years old and a shadow is not easy to beat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you guys are outside of. What do you want to do now? John Doe is not with you anymore, by the
In a shower.
way.
So.
Well, there's no shower here.
I was going to say, the
The
next
showers
obvious
are-
thing is
Go
Cloud
back to
9.
the bikes and go back to yeah.
I want to drink.
Well, I have a variety, but
There's a bar over there, right? And you and
There is
Yes,
a bar
there
in
is a
town,
bar in
and you
town.
have seen it. I mean, you had to go buy it to get to the church.
if you don't.
However,
make
it's like 5 in the morning right now. You can tell by
Even
the
Australian
sunlight.
bars close at some time.
Yes.
Yeah.
They don't open at 5 on a Sunday.
I'm sure the door is open.
That's true. You can make your way into it. Drink whatever you want.
Well, he's got money. You Australian money.
And pay for it, yes. I'm not saying you're stealing.
They take pounds too.
Yes.
Okay.
They're part of the common. No, there's part of the United
I'm
Kingdom.
gonna need some kind of
For the British
explanation of
Empire.
what we're into at some point, guys.
Fine.
Well, let's
You-
get the bicycles.
Okay,
Get back
fine.
to Cloud 9.
Yeah,
Fine.
you can get a better drink there.
I also don't relish the idea of crossing the barrier again into Alice Springs.
It was interesting.
So anyway,
And there is whatever booze you want probably up in the dirigible. I mean,
I mean, it,
anyways,
you don't have to worry about U.S. prohibition.
I haven't.
so once we're pedaling, I'm going to say, okay, we have a couple of options. One is I agreed to not cause Fat Sal
That's Al.
harm while I was inside the church.
Yes.
I am not inside the church.
You are
anymore,
absolutely not.
You are absolutely
which
not.
means I can start dropping bombs on the place.
You certainly
Not
could.
from my airship.
Well,
And throwing bombs against the side of the church and blowing holes in it.
You certainly could.
Because I'm not inside. I already said I couldn't. As
And
long as I'm
then
not
he
inside.
would no longer be bound to stay out of your business. And the others would still be after this mystery person.
I'm not saying do it now. I'm just saying it in the future.
Yep, true. That option exists.
Because, like I said, as long as I'm not inside, and if I reduce it to rubble, it's no longer a church anymore. It's no longer a building. It's a pile of rubble, which means again I'm not bound by it.
We were in it in an altered state. Wouldn't necessarily, the physical state would not necessarily affect the altered state. That's
I'd
one of
be
the
curious to
problems.
find out. It's got physical walls because I climbed one.
yes, as a matter of fact.
Yes,
And you
it does.
you examined the locks and the alarms. They were all physical.
Yes,
You
yes.
found electricity
Electricity
running through the
through,
walls.
yes.
Running through very fine wires, so if you
Well,
break
I
a wire,
couldn't-
it sets off an alarm
I
or
couldn't
something.
tell exactly how fine, but they saw the current. running
They
through the
could.
walls,
You
so-
knew they could be because the level of
Well,
current was
current.
very, very low. It was definitely not something that was going to damage anybody, but it would interrupt a circuit.
You
And
set off an alarm.
set off an alarm.
Yeah, and you assumed that that's what it was, because why else would they have this net of
Well, the
wires?
Faraday cage.
That
too.
could be as well,
They
I suppose.
could have been going for both.
I would have liked it would have been a Faraday cage. You can poke a hole in the Faraday cage and the current still flows.
You know, you might be able to destroy the physical church, but the grandfather might have a not physical church that matters.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But for right now, guess who we get to go and kill?
I have no clue.
Do you want to know or not?
I think it'd be in my best interest to know who.
Yeah, you have a long bike ride, so there's a lot of conversation that can happen.
It's not like we're going to be going by any bars anytime soon. So
Okay, then my other idea that I had, as we disguise ourselves as Italians, and we let it be known that we're part of Fat Sal's retribution squad. So when we kill somebody and take her, we let it be really obvious who is responsible.
oh sure.
So,
Really
the
obvious.
Boston
And of course,
Tea
they
Party.
will believe it too, because it makes sense.
There's
Because if the situation was reversed, they do exactly the same thing.
for that matter, no, we'd have to do it ourselves because if we just put out a contract saying it's from Fat Sal, word will get back to him. Because that would be the other approach.
Now we screw up his radio antenna, won't.
Well, it'll slow things down dramatically, yes.
And we go to a certain postmaster and a certain post office and have him have an accident.
We've caused heart attacks before.
I mean, the guy is working for a crook.
I didn't say I'd have any qualms.
He's being paid to do it too. I'm sure he's not doing it out of the kindness of his heart.
Nobody works for Fat Sal out of the kindness of their
Money or fear, take your pick.
Yeah, those are the two basic reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, his son worked out of,
Well,
loyalty and love. But anyway, so yes, it takes a long time, but you get back to where the airship is.
Get back to the airship.
You're in the airship.
Have breakfast. Go take a nap.
why you need a
Are
nap?
we? Because we were up all night.
Big deal. I do it all the time.
You understand that not everybody is you.
and sleeping is not a bad thing.
You don't expect people to drag train cars around, for
You know what?
instance.
I really don't want to go to bed and dream, okay? I've had enough dreaming for a while, okay? And if you check our blood, there won't be anything in it. Explain how that happened.
Actually, electrical fields can also induce altered states of consciousness.
But it also changes blood chemistry. Yeah. As
Yes,
your blood, as your brain functions differently, it does different
yes,
chemicals.
it does, but she'd have to invent a machine to detect it.
She's a mad scientist. Mine was
Yeah.
one.
I will tell you that there would be noticeable difference in your brain chemistry. She would be able to detect it.
Okay.
Going into the dreamtime and being there affects you.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you say there would be no difference, and she would detect a difference. It would be a very subtle difference having to do with neurotransmitters.
Okay, that's a difference, but that's not a pathogen.
No, it isn't. I mean, she wouldn't be able to explain it, but it would be a marker that something had been done.
So, does this fill up our next two aspects? Is that what you're saying?
No, these are added aspects
Okay.
until you've discharged.
Them.
Well, the one about being inside the building,
We're not there anymore, so it's gone.
it can be, as long as you stay out of that building, you're fine. Let me put it that way. If you go back in the building, it reimposes itself. The second one, after you're done doing the thing, the aspect goes away.
Okay.
These are more like, you would think of them as environmental aspects, the same
Okay.
sort of a thing. They are things that have to do with you, but they are
Like
temporary
the-
or
like the Amazons laid claim.
absolutely,
to
yes.
An existing aspect.
Yeah.
Someday we need you to fix something.
Yep. Just kind of like that.
So I guess we'll be busy for a while in New York.
So, if you want to say it, you can say that this adventure is over once you get back to New York. Unless you're planning retribution on Sal as part of this,
Not yet.
then
I'm all
that
for
would
being-
extend the adventure because you aren't giving up on, Sal. But
I'm perfectly happy calling this the end of the adventure, getting a refresh before we go after.
once you get back to New York, you get a refresh. And we can just say the airship goes back to New York via Hawaii. Because Jack wants to stop in Hawaii.
Okay. I have no
Or you
objection.
could teleport to Hawaii to pick up the pineapples that you need to get.
Let's use the airship instead.
Okay, once we get to the airship and start moving,
Yeah.
Yes.
you have a way of doing a radio to radio to a phone, right?
Yeah.
You set that up for me. I'll
Sure.
wait till the time zone's right so I can call New York at a decent hour.
That
Okay.
was what I was about to ask is where do you want to call? And
That's all I know is that from here to
it's about
Paris,
12 hours.
it's 7 hours.
What did you say?
From here to Paris, he said. But
Yeah,
from
it's 7
from
hours.
the central time zone to the eastern coast of Australia is it's either 11 or 12 hours.
Yeah.
But you'd be doing New York to the center of Australia, so it'll be a little bit less, I believe.
I think it's no, it's more than that.
Well, I've got a
Okay.
world time.
Yeah.
Let's see. Clock, world clock. So we have. Oh, it doesn't show Australia. Oh, there it is. We have 3 time zones in Australia. It'll be the center one, which is the same time zone as Tokyo. So Tokyo
15
to
hours.
New York is
plus 15 hours from
Yeah, I
here.
thought so.
Plus 14 hours from New York.
Right.
So
So it's when you get back, let's see, it was 22 hours, so 7, it's like 7 a.m. when you get back on the airship.
it'd be at night. But
Yes, it would be night, but not especially late right
It'll be 9 o'clock yesterday.
Okay.
now.
9 p.m. yesterday.
Really? It's some army thing.
if you want me to set it
There's
up,
a,
I
there's a,
can.
they had to drop the international date line somewhere.
They had to.
They
yes.
chose the Pacific
Anyway.
instead of the Atlantic.
There's no way Paris is in bed before 9.
I know. So if you could set that up, Andy, that'd be great.
I'll set it up.
Right. Okay.
I'd like to use it when Jack is done with it.
Okay.
I thought you might.
Yeah.
After with a microphone. It's
Yeah.
a radio here.
Well, it is a radio.
Actually, it's probably the guest quarters, what looks like a telephone.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you could do that.
Okay.
It goes to a radio.
So, yes. Goes to a radio, which connects to another radio, which is special and connects to the phone system. And then
Does it become local or is it out long distance?
it depends on how you want to set it up.
I would
Which particular other radio system are you connecting to? If you say, I'm connecting to the New York Century Club's radio, because they have a Radio Shack on the roof that does this sort of thing.
If that one will work, then I might as well make it.
You've
a
got a
local
communication center, right?
Yep.
That's fine then. I'm happy to say that your radio can contact, because that's all, their radio is also really good.
Call.
And so it's a local call.
I like that.
While it is a local call, there is an amount of time. There's a time delay.
There's
time
delay.
You're far enough where light isn't instantaneous anymore.
And even if it was, there is significant delay just with the radio electronics.
Yeah. Whatever.
The electrons are almost going the speed of light.
Yeah. So it's really the
electrons may be, but there are delays in the circuitry.
it's a processing thing, is what he's saying that she
Yep.
would say. Anyway, there's going to be a delay. While it is a local call,
There'll
there's
be
still a lag.
It won't be nearly as bad as the moon, though. That
It
was-
won't
No,
be
it is
that
not as bad as the moon.
No.
It just has to go around the earth. So, ring, 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 ring. Servant answers. Hello, this is the can't remember her last name.
Vanderbilt resident.
Vanderbilt residence. Yes.
This is Jack. I'd like to speak to Paris if she's available.
She is out right now.
Oh.
Would you like to leave a message?
Yes. I have good news. My business here is concluded for the time being in Australia. And I'm heading back to New York. And my next activities will actually be within New York. So I will be in town.
Okay.
And
You
Andy
happen
would
to
have
know
given
where-
you the time that she expects to get back. Just
And you happen to know where she is?
I believe she's at the Cobalt Club right now.
All right. Thank you. Simon?
My turn.
Your turn.
set it up so he can make the connection.
Okie dokie.
Well, the hardest part is going to the Sensory Shelf Radio Shack, and that's already
Yep.
done. All he has
I
to
would
do is
have to disconnect on the remote and reconnect is what it is.
Yes. Ring, 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 ring. Servant answers.
Hello, it's Simon Wells. Is Cornelia available?
I'm afraid she is out.
That was not an unexpected answer. Would you please tell her that we have...
Simon can do the calculation. It's 9 p.m. Saturday night.
Yes. Like I said, not unexpected. Okay, I would have been surprised if she had been, but please tell her we've resolved our current business in Australia and we are headed home and should get home and tell her how long
Certainly,
it's-
sir.
And he'll be puzzled by the answer, but
Okay. All right. So you start heading back.
Yes.
So, Simon, I do have an idea. If you don't mind taking a slight pit stop in Hawaii, I could teleport there first and get the pineapples and go right to the Cobalt Club where Paris is. I'll bet you real money that's where Cornelia is. Be a nice surprise.
go, Simon, can you make sure that it's just the physical body he gets?
I was rather contemplating making certain that was the case, yes.
I don't like what he
Implied.
implied.
Yeah.
Torturing this woman's soul for eternity.
I cannot.
It's unlikely that he'd do it for eternity.
Until he dies.
But
Oh, no.
the agreement was just the physical corpse. I mean, he was very specific about it being the physical
Absolutely.
corpse.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas I have no proof of the soul, I also have no way of disproving
You have no
it.
disproof of it either. And
I do
have-
not like that person.
And I have yes. I have what constitutes sufficient proofs for me as to the existence of the soul.
So, you agree that might be a
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah. I was already thinking about it.
If there is an afterlife that rewards or punishes, having the soul go there is grand. They made their life choices, but
yeah.
All right.
Okay. Now the next question: do I want to get to New York immediately and then wait for everybody else to? Okay, who all are you taking? Who all are you proposing?
I'm taking the airship.
Yeah.
That's my base.
Yeah.
Whoever wants to come. I'd have to go to Hawaii and get some pineapple.
Let's see. It'll be sometime midday in Hawaii, mid-late day.
That's great. First
Well,
thing to go by.
mid-late day tomorrow, yesterday, but whatever.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to take us, 5 days to get there by airship?
To Hawaii? Yeah.
That's to
And
Hawaii.
And then another 5 days or so to get to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to spend? Do you want to go to New York immediately via Jack and wait for Annie, or do you want to?
You don't have to stay at the airship. You can just have your crew take it back. It's just you just.
But she wants to.
But you're just slightly limited. That's all.
It's her base.
I understand.
Yeah. And besides, if she's with it, then she's got all this fascinating work she can do.
Yes.
Well, we figure out how we're doing.
Also, if you guys do the deed while she's en route, she can't be blamed for that.
Oh, really?
You could wait.
Sal was blaming Boomer.
He was not specifically blaming Boomer. He was looking for Boomer.
So he could blame him.
You have associates. Putting pressure on your associates puts pressure on you.
Anyway, fine. I'll come back to help.
Yeah,
I'll hop a ride with
I'll
you.
hop a ride.
I
have to do
suppose
something.
I can too. I just
Edgy decides to stay with you.
no, okay, no.
He doesn't actually think he'd be a huge amount of help in the planning part.
It's going to be a huge amount for the execution part either, but we shall
Don't
see.
say that to him.
Well, I just noticed Edgy has I never fault him for his bravery. I fault him for his judgment.
That's true. He will rush into situations that he definitely shouldn't.
He will say things that he actually shouldn't.
Anyway,
Like, oh, it's John Doe. Let's go to the criminal.
he whispered it. The fact that there was somebody 4 feet away who didn't have, a hearing issue.
Cat out of bag.
Yes, it was unfortunate. He should not have done that. He understands that. Anyway, so you teleport to Hawaii.
Yep.
You
Yes.
were over Hawaii before, so you could teleport to Hilo if you wanted to.
Okay, well that's
I
definitely.
mean, you could also teleport to where the radio antennas are, but I don't know why you'd want to do that. You
That
can't buy
wouldn't be very
pineapples there.
useful.
It's in the middle of a
Go to
forest,
Hilo.
not a pineapple plantation.
Go to Hilo. Do contacting and see if I can find a pineapple, a fruit store, or a vendor, or a cart, or a something.
Okay, don't roll poor on your contacting. That's good enough.
Okay, that's my resources. Great resources, good. Fine. Oh, let's
So-
make sure that
Yeah.
So I get
Finding a store that sells pineapple
shouldn't be hard.
is not hard. Average contacting is good enough.
So I walk in and I'm gonna say, look around. Now they have pineapples as pineapple, and they're not cut up, right?
Correct. Yes, it's
Okay.
not. They're not rings or. I mean, they do actually have dried pineapple that is in rings, but you want the fresh. So
Okay.
yes, they are entire pineapples.
I'll take 20.
Certainly, sir. He seems a little stunned that you want that many, but
It probably isn't a difficulty for him.
no, they have 20 of them.
Yes.
That's my resource.
Oh, whatever.
Whatever.
These are pineapples.
Pineapples in
They're
Hawaii.
not made of gold.
Pineapples in Hawaii are cheap.
Hope not. Be hard in the teeth.
Anyway, so yes, he puts them in
Boxes.
boxes.
I pick up all the boxes at once.
I was going to ask you if you had a cart or something to put them on, but I guess you don't need one.
Put them all in one arm.
Okay. Fine. You do that, and yeah, he's a little stunned, but you paid for them, and
So
did you want to buy any pineapples, sir? I
Yeah.
assume you're with him.
yeah, not quite that many. I'll take one box worth.
Okay. It's a box with 4 of them in it.
Okay.
All right. How about you?
no,
You don't need any pineapples?
don't need any pineapples.
All right.
Now the question is: we're going outside and finding an alley, or are you just leaving from here?
Go outside and find an alley.
Okay.
I need to scare this guy to death.
He's already pretty startled, okay?
Last thing I need to do is send this guy to therapy.
So where are you teleporting to?
I'm teleporting outside the Vanderbilt residence.
Okie dokie. That's inconvenient for these guys, but
Not-
whatever.
Not just a small pit stop.
Ding dong.
Okay. Somebody answers the door. It looks like you. It takes a little while. It looks like you might have woken somebody up.
Darn.
What time of day is it?
A little after 9.
I was
At
going to say
night.
it should be like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. I mean, there are still servants
Mhm.
that are awake, but the
Yeah.
one that answers the door, you woke them up. Yes. Oh, yes, sir. What may I do for you? What is?
We keep one mock outside. I say, could you put these in the kitchen? These
Could
are-
you set them down first, sir? He
Smart
takes
man.
one box at a time.
He
Because
closes
unless
the
they're
door.
empty boxes.
He closes the door.
Anyway, he takes one box at a time
Yeah.
away and comes back.
And the last box only has 3 pineapples, so I guess Jack told me.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
Nope.
Paris is not at home right now.
I'm aware of that.
All right.
I'm gonna go see her now.
Okay.
So after he closes the door, I said, okay, Como Club.
He'd probably like to go to the brownstone.
The
to
brownstone to
Brownstone.
change.
Okay.
Yeah, you are all actually still in disguise.
Oh crap.
change. Not necessarily. I mean, we did get to
No.
the airship, but
Well,
we hadn't
but
specified we got
nobody said they took their
Okay.
disguise off.
Good idea.
I would.
So
have
You on the airship eventually would. I mean, you wouldn't
I
go to
had-
bed in disguise.
Yes, I had specified I was going to take a shower and then head to bed. So
So
After
we're in the
breakfast.
steps of your brownstone.
Say again.
We're in the steps,
Steps
of
of
your
your
brownstone.
brownstone.
Okay.
And you don't actually need to go anywhere to take your disguise off. I mean, you can just peel parts of it off, and
Yeah, but
you'd be dressed kind of oddly for the Cobalt
my
Club.
objective, I want to take a shower and dress appropriately for the Cobalt Club.
Okie dokie, you can do that.
We're dressed kind of inappropriately for New York City in March.
Well, that too.
It's kind of cold for how you're dressed. That is true.
I have my.
But you
my-
all have
my duffel
endurance
bag.
at good.
Yeah.
That's
I
right.
have-
you're
It's
just-
back to being the first.
Oh no, it's chilly.
It's back to being the first.
I have my duffel bag. It's got my regular clothes in it. It does not have a tuxedo in it. Okay, well, yeah.
Well, do you two want to head to the Century Club and I'll come pick you up?
Why not?
Okay.
Sure. I actually do have a talk at the Century Club in my room there, so.
An hour?
We do 45 minutes.
Okay.
So we're at the Century Club.
Well, we appear in an alley across the street from the Century Club.
It's possible that teleporting into the Century Club itself might cause a problem.
Yes. So
There are all sorts of weird, like, mysteries and mad science things in the Century Club that might be unhappy with someone teleporting in.
Yeah.
I know there are things in the walls of the Century Clubs that get upset with spirits trying to go through them.
So we get out of the alley across the street and when I'm in the alley, I'm actually gonna peel off my face. I want to change my clothes into my normal black, you know, and then I'll walk across the street.
After I change
Yes.
and shower,
Shower and change.
shower and change. But before I leave, the Century Club, I'm going to dig out the Where's Cornelia, my half of the Where's Cornelia,
Okay.
and see if I can figure out where the matching necklace is at the moment.
She is at the Cobalt Club, yes.
Okay.
good to check before going there.
Yeah, I removed
You know,
it.
the same we didn't take my bet.
There was the off chance they had gone somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean,
I lose
she
the
isn't, like, attached at the hip to Paris or anything.
Yeah.
But they do things together a lot when you guys are gone.
Uh-huh.
We get together and complain about them.
I was going to say, it gives them a chance to commiserate.
Uh-huh.
Have to make a door.
Do I need to spend a big
Walk
point
up.
there? I've got all my kit.
Walk up.
I'll let you just say that.
Thank you.
I'll walk up. We'll enter the Century Club.
Okay.
Any messages for me?
Yes. There's a message from John Doe saying, I am in the warehouse.
Okay. I will do what I do with all his messages. I'll set him on fire. It's John Doe. He doesn't want things lying around.
Eat the ashes.
He's
Don't
good.
worry, you'll get used to the taste.
No, flush him down the toilet.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead, go after him.
Yes. Yeah, burn it,
Help.
grind it to dust, and then
Help
flush
yourself.
it down the toilet.
Help yourself.
Anyway,
Whatever you
so
find down there is yours.
so you went with him.
Mm-hmm.
Are you also asking about a message?
Yes.
There's the same message for you.
Okay.
It's from John Doe saying, I am in the warehouse. You might not know what that means, but that's what it says.
I have a vague idea what that means. But
Shower, shave, put on the tux, get the black cat coat, the one, the gloves, and the hat, though, and all the extras. Yes, I have an aspect, always armed.
Always armed.
And then I will go out to the common area.
And I should show up there in about 45, approximately in the aforementioned 45 minutes. And,
Okay.
And after 40 minutes, I'll be waiting outside.
Are you going to the Century Club? Are you going to the Cobalt Club with us? Or are you
No,
just going to
I'm
go down
not.
to the? Are you just going to go down to the?
You don't
mystery?
have a girlfriend
No
there.
strong desire to be a fifth wheel.
Or catch one of those high society types.
It's also 10 o'clock at night on the docks. No, I'm going to, not that that's much of a worry for me, but
Yeah.
Yes, some drunken sailor might vomit on you. I don't know what else they could do that would be a problem.
Somebody might try and take a sap.
Oh,
him.
who cares?
I think I'm really more in the mood for a steak and a couple of drinks,
You might-
shower.
You're going to get a couple of drinks, but speakeasy, sorry.
Well, no, he's just going to stay
Century
here at the
Club.
Century Club
Yeah,
and do all
you can
that.
get all of that at the Century Club.
Okay, 'cause I-
The kitchen, well, one of the kitchens is open all night.
Actually, I think I'll make it eggs. Eggs in a small steak.
Well, for your body, it seems like it's morning.
Well, the eggs will work.
Steak and eggs is a
breakfast.
fairly typical breakfast.
Typical breakfast. Yep.
It's going to take, you guys are going to have a little bit of jet lag. I mean, you've got endurance at good, so it's
Yes.
only going to be a little bit, even though you just went this enormous distance.
Right.
I'll roll on mine.
It's really
Sure,
temporal.
roll your endurance.
It's sort of a temporal aphasia.
That'd be awe-inspiring.
Fill your $3. Who cares, really? Sit down for 15 minutes and that goes away.
It went away while you were in the common room.
Yeah, I mean, ooh, you filled a box. It's not like it's a consequence. It's not an aspect placed on you.
Enough of those lately.
Yes. So I pick him up and we head to the Cobalt Club.
All right.
So as we walk up to the door,
I
there's
left,
a doorman,
I
right?
left the pineapple at the brownstone with instructions for the chef to come up with something good to make with this for tomorrow.
Okay.
Apple upside down cake.
Actually, given 4 pineapples, he might do that with one of them.
Yeah, he could make a 4-course meal. Each course using pineapple.
Yes.
And it is very fresh.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
absolutely. Right off the plantation. Okay, you are at the Cobalt Club.
Does the bouncer lets us in?
Yes. You're both known at the club.
Yeah.
So, look around to see where they're sitting.
Yeah, they're at a table. It's actually Paris, Cornelia, and Betty are together.
Okay, I'm gonna forget I read his note.
Okay.
How much are we going to surprise them, Jack?
Quite a bit.
Are you heading over to their
Yeah,
table?
we're heading over to their table.
Are we stealth heading over to their table?
No.
Okay.
All right.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Do you have a pineapple with you still?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ah, Jack, Simon, hi.
Hello,
Surprise.
Cornelia. Hello, Paris. Hello, Betty.
Betty seems surprised. For some reason, neither Paris nor Cornelia seem surprised.
I would expect they got phone calls. Messages somehow.
No.
They could have, well, the only way they could have done it this time, right, is to call the Global Club and ask for them.
Yeah.
And then, but I mean.
That's not to say it couldn't have happened.
I think it's more the whole
Well-
Jack has shown his ability to.
Jack has shown his ability to teleport.
Mhm.
And while they might not have told Betty about this, Harris
Harris
obviously has
so-
communicated this fact to Cornelia.
Cornelia.
I think
And
Cornelia actually
asked
talked to
why-
you about it.
Why you couldn't do
Yeah.
it.
Yes, that's right. So showing up, even though you might have just been in, well, Hawaii, because you have a
Fresh pineapple.
fresh pineapple, isn't going to surprise them.
So, you think one of the kitchen could do something with this?
I guess I don't know why they. I mean, actually, I've heard that there are some drinks that use rum drinks. I think that use pineapple.
I'm certain the bartender could come up with something.
Yes. Why don't you give it to the bar?
I will. Walk over to the bar and I'm going to say, I don't suppose you happen to have any remaining rum left, do you?
Of course we do, sir.
Yes, I'm, I forget I'm going to call up.
Right. No, this is one of those cases where you take the pineapple and you give it to the bartender and you say, we want drinks for 5 at that table using this. Give us the best thing that you can for that.
And with that, we are going to call it for the night.
Okay.
Yeah, this is one of those cases you just turn it over to the bartender and let him do his thing.
I forgot that this is the place where the police commissioner gets his drinks.
They have a very well-stocked cellar.
Yes.
And fate points reset, so we don't have to count them, right?
Right.
Yes, fate points reset for everybody who's in New York. You haven't gotten to New York yet, but I assume 10 days later you show up in New York and your fate points reset.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be
Nothing is
doing
likely.
anything adventure-wise until you get back to New York.
Yeah.
John Doe used 4 fate points. It doesn't matter. He's back in New York as well.
reset. Okay, I've lost track. Is this another aspect, or is this a stunt?
What?
I gotta go to my sheet.
Right, we need to look at my sheet. Yes.
Oh. What we gained.
We have 48 aspects at the moment.
So this would be the 49th aspect.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you could take strong body, strong mind. You
I guess
just came up with it.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone who is watching the stream, and thank you very much for being here.